Hi, good day. We're here to discuss our topic about standardization for development and acquisition processes.
Hi, I'm Dala Ramajani.
I'm Ragamayo Margie. I'm Rizami Amen.
Hope you will like our video and please watch this. Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm going to discuss about ISO 9000. What is ISO 9000? ISO 9000 is an international recognized quality management system developed by ISO. It means International Organization Standardization. How ISO 9000 can be used in a business? Can be benefit many industries such as banking, healthcare, manufacturing. ISO 9000 is genetic. It can be applied virtually anywhere. ISO 9000 principles. Standard based on 8 quality management principles, mutually beneficial supplier relationships, factual approach to decision making, continuous improvement, customer focus, process approach, leadership, involvement people, system approach to management. IS develop process and procedures. First, proposal stage. The first step in the development of an international standard is to confirm that a particular international standard is legal. A new work item proposal (NP) is submitted for vote by members of the relevant TC or SC to determine the inclusion of the work item in the program of work. Second, reformatory stage. Usually, a working group of experts, the chairman or convener of which is the project leader, is set up by the TCRSC for the preparation of working draft. Successive working drafts may be considered until the working group is satisfied that it has developed the best technical solution to the problem being addressed. At this stage, the draft is forwarded to the working group's parent committee for the consensus building phases. Committee stage. As soon as first committee draft is available, it is registered by the ISO Central Citation. It is distributed for comment and, if required, voting by the P members of the TC or SC. Successive committee drafts may be considered until consensus is reached on the technical content. Once consensus has been attained, the text is finalized for submission as a draft international standard (DIS). Fourth, inquiry stage. The draft international standard (DIS) is circulated to all ISO member bodies by the ISO's Central Secretariat for voting comment within a period of 5 months. It is approved for the submission as final draft international standard or FDIS. If a two-third majority of the P members of the PC or ISC in favor and not more than one-quarter of the total number of votes cast are negative. If the approval criteria are not met, the text is returned to the organizing PC or SC for further study, and a revised document will again be circulated for voting and comment as draft international standard. Fifth, approval stage. The final draft international standard or FDIS is circulated to all ISO member bodies by the IS Central Secretariat for the final yes or no vote within a period of 2 months. If technical comments are received during this period, they are no longer considered at this stage, but registered for consideration during a future revision of the international standard. 6. Publication stage. Once the final draft international standard has been approved, only minor editorial changes, if and where necessary, and introduced into the final text. The final text is sent to the ISO Central Secretariat, which publishes the international standard. Forms of certification. First party. A firm audits itself against ISO 9000 standards. Second party, a customer audits its supplier. Third party, a qualified national or international standard or certifying agency serves as an auditor. IS certification process for companies. Educate yourself. Preliminary audit. Hire a consultant. Establish staff rules. Prepare process diagram. Prepare documentation. Staff training. Pre-certification audit. Certification audit. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Romeo Margie. I'm going to discuss about what is ISO or IEC 11207. It's a system in software engineering. Software also lifecycle processes is an international standard for software lifecycle processes. It aims to be the standard that defines all the tasks required for the developing and maintaining software. The major worldwide standard for software-related processes, activities, and tasks, tailored for any organization or project, high-level process architecture, an inventory of processes from which to choose. The scope is management of software development project. IT software projects have a poor success record, yet the problems can be solved. The concept from the ISO or ISC 11207 standard can help the software project manager achieve greater success. IT and software. Just about every modern product or service depends on software. Software-intensive products or services include the internet, transportation of all kinds, and financial markets. The software competence is just about every modern product or service depends on the software. The software-intensive products or services include the internet, the transportation of all kinds, and the financial markets. The software competence. The companies dependent on IT projects need to master the software technology to stay competitive, produce quality products that satisfies user needs, meet committed costs, meet the planned schedules, or 70 to 80% of companies do not have a process suitable to support the demands of project control. What is software engineering? The software engineering is concerned with applying scientific principles and management skills to develop software. An intensive systems and products for use by society within the constraints of the time or schedule, money or budget, technology or platform and domain, quality or safety, security or reliability, and business or appropriate stability and growth, ethics, the serving society. Why are software projects difficult? Because of invisible products, lack of physical constraints, inadequate system engineering, changing requirements, coordination of intellect-intensive teams, insufficient technical staff, and lack of project management skills. This is the project failure reasons. This is the graph and the major issues. The planning software requirements is not clear. The cost and schedule estimation is difficult. The project function is not planned, or the CM or QA computing facilities. Planning viewed as a non-productive. The control, the poor methods for tracking progress. The poor indicators to measure productivity, quality. The two types of software projects of ISO or IEC 11207 is the development and acquisition. The development is developing or modifying a software or intensive system to meet contractual requirements or satisfy user needs. The acquisition is a contractually obtaining from a group or supplier a software or intensive system for use by another group or a user. The IT project management view, the customer organization, the user organization, the acquiring organization, as a supplier organization. 11207 concepts. The process of architecture is a modular cohesion and responsibility. The modular is the handle of all types of projects. The cohesion is one process for one major function. The responsibility is one process for one party, and the 18 processes. The 11207 processes is organizational, primary, and supporting. The organizational is there are four types is the management, improvement, infrastructure, and training. The primary is the acquisition, the operation, the supply, and maintenance and development. The supporting is the joint review, audit, quality assurance, documentation, configuration management, problem resolution, or tailoring or special. Preferences. These are preferences the ISO or ISC 11207 1995 Information Technology Software Lifecycle Processes, IAE Standard 1062 Recommended Practice for Software Acquisition, IEEE STD 1058 I Standard for Software Project Management Plans, and the Software Engineering Project Management, edited by R. Thayer, IE Computer Society, 1997. Defining the project strategy. The first step is to choose and tailor a project life cycle by choosing the appropriate set of processes defined in ISO or ISC 11207. Waterfall, iterative, RAD, and incremental. The initiation or selecting a project or LC. The requirements, organization policy, and methods, the legal needs, and time. This is the graph. A simple project 11207 processes. First is the management, the development, operations, maintenance, configuration management, joint review verification. The major part is primary, the supplier, the acquirer, or the supplier is that provides the product to the acquirer. The acquirer acquires the product. The operator, the user, the developer, and the maintainer. The developer is that defines and develops the product, and the maintainer is that maintains the software product. The acquisition process defines the activities of the acquirer. The organization that acquires a system, software product, or software services. The first is initiation. The second is the RFP or tender preparation. The third is the contract preparation and update. The fourth is the supplier monitoring. And the fifth is the acceptance and completion. The organizational processes. The project life cycle. The management, the infrastructure, the improvements, and the training. Employed by the organization to establish and implement an underlying structure of is the processes and the personnel and continuously improve the structure and processes. The management process. The purpose of the management process is to organize, monitor, and control the initiation and performance of any processes or functions within the organization to achieve their goals and the business goals of the organization in an effective manner. The activities. The first is the initiation and scope definition. The second is the planning. The third is the execution and control. The fourth is review and evaluation. And the fifth is the closure. Infrastructure process. The purpose of the infrastructure process is to maintain a stable and reliable infrastructure that is needed to support the performance of any other process. May include hardware, software, methods, tools, techniques, standards, facilities for development, operation, or maintenance. The objectives is the first is to establish and maintain a well-defined software engineering environment or SEE. The second is tailored to the SSE top the needs of the project. The third is develop a SEE that supports project team members. And the last is implement a defined and deployed strategy for use. Management and infrastructure process standards. The first is IEE STD 982.1 or Standard Dictionary of Measures to Produce Reliable Software. The second is to IEE STD 1045 or a Software Productivity Metrics. The third is the IEE STD 1058 Software Project Management Plans. The fourth is IEE STD 1045 or Recommended Practice for the Adoption of Case Tools. The last is ISO or ISC 14102 guidelines for the evaluation and selection of case tools. The supporting processes. This is the project life cycle, the documentation, the configuration management, the quality assurance, the problem resolution, the verification, validation, the joint review, and the audit. The quality assurance. The purpose of the quality assurance process is to provide assurance that work products and processes comply with their specified requirements, adhere to their established plan. The objective is to the first is identify or plan a schedule or QA activities. The second is identify quality standards or methods and tools. The third is identify resources and responsibilities. The fourth, to establish and guarantee independence of those. The fifth is perform the QA activities, and the last is apply organizational quality management systems. The configuration management. The purpose of configuration management is to establish and maintain the integrity of the work products of a process or product. The objective is first is identify and define and control all relevant items. The second, control modifications. The third is record and update report status. The fourth is ensure completeness of items. And the last is control storage handling or release and delivery. The planning. The requirements of engineering is documented and traceability. The second is task, cost, and schedule determination based on requirements. The third is risk management with problem tracking. And the fourth is incremental development. The control. The fifth is work packages with visible progress measurement or WBS or work package specification or earned value tracking. Software metrics, the size, effort, schedule, and quality. The seven is software configuration management. And the eighth is software quality assurance and standards. The nine is peer reviews or walkthroughs and inspections. The 10 is independent verification and validation. The 11 is the software engineering assessments and capability evaluation. The example. The method presented in this entry can be used in a company that is responsible for creating and maintaining a software product for a customer, especially when this company decides to build an application from scratch and that maintenance and assisting in the operation is also done by the company developer. The conclusions. The first is 11207 provides a reference point for all types of IT project containing software. It demands good PM practices. The third is a basis for establishing a mature process and successful. The last is a roadmap for processes and projects improvements. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Riza and I'm going to discuss the ISO 10006. What is ISO 10006? ISO 10006 2003 gives guidance on the application of quality management in projects. It is applicable to projects of varying complexity, small or large, short or long duration in different environments, and irrespective of the kind of product or process involvement. This can necessitate some tailoring of the guidance to suit a particular project. Number one is the project characteristics. This evaluation area examines how the characteristics of the project are understood within the company, how the project is designed, and what are the basic elements of the project operations quality management system. Number two is the management responsibility, resource management, or organization and staffing. This evaluation area examines how management responds to the continual improvement of a project-based operation in practice. The kinds of operational guidelines management set for the development of the quality management system and operation are also examined. Number three is the project planning, or the planning the project scope. This evaluation area examines how the processes that interact with the project are planned and how they are managed. This evaluation area examines how the project scope is defined and how the needs of customers and other stakeholders are incorporated into the activities and objectives of the project. Number 4 is the schedule planning and control. This evaluation examines how to identify the interdependence of various project tasks as well as their duration, and how to ensure the project is completed on time. Number 5 is a cost planning and control. This evaluation examines how project costs are predicted and managed so that the project is executed within the financial limits and so cost information can be passed back to the originating organization. Number 6 is the communications planning and control. This evaluation examines how communications are used to ensure up-to-date information is produced, transmitted, and saved. Number 7 is a risk assessment and management. This evaluation area examines how uncertainty in a project is assessed, treated, and managed. Number 8 is a purchase planning and control. This evaluation area examines how project suppliers are selected, how project-related purchases are planned and made, as well as how to make sure that the purchases perform as planned. Number 9 is the continual improvement. This evaluation area examines how the originating and project organization learn from the project and improve the project management system. The overview of ISO 10006-2003 is the guidelines outlines quality management principles and practices as they relate to the management of projects. It provides the guidance on quality issues that impact projects. It is applicable to projects of varying complexity, size, and length. The guidelines can be applied to projects managed by an individual or by a team or for a program. Large projects comprise of smaller but interrelated projects or for a portfolio of projects. Since the ISO 10006 is a guidance document, its intention is not for use in certification or registration purposes. Its overall purpose is to create and maintain quality in projects through a systematic process that ensures: number 1 is the stated and implied needs of customers are understood and met. Number 2 is the interested stakeholder needs are understood and evaluated. Number 3 is the organization quality policy is incorporated into the management of the project. What is the Project Management Institute or the PMI? The Project Management Institute or PMI as it is known is the world-leading not-for-profit professional association for project management dedicated to the advancement of the profession of the project management. What is PMBOK? PMBOK is PMI's project management body of knowledge. It describes the sum of the knowledge generally accepted within the profession of project management. Generally accepted means that the knowledge and practices described are applicable to most projects most of the time, and that there is widespread consensus about their value and usefulness. The overall purpose of the PMBOK is to provide a common lexicon within the project management profession and practice for talking and writing about project management. Comparing the ISO 10006 standard and the PMBOK, there is much discussion as to whether a project should follow the PMBOK or the ISO 10006 guidelines or both. Through this comparison and interpretation of each of the major sections, I will provide some answer to this question. What is a project? ISO 10006 states that project is a unique process consisting of a set of coordinated and controlled activities with start and finish dates undertaken to achieve an objective conforming to specific requirements including constraints of time, cost, and resources. While the PM book states that project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service. Quality plan. What is the quality plan? ISO 10006 states that the quality plan is a document specifying which procedures and associated resources shall be applied by whom and when to a specific project, product, process, or contract. While the PMBOK states that the quality plan identifies which quality standards are relevant to the project and determines how to satisfy them, and to describe how the project management team will implement its quality policy. The importance of the ISO 10006 standard to the ongoing management of project is that provides project process guidance. The ISO 1006 provides guidance on the process to close and evaluate a project in order to retain the knowledge gained for future project managers and project teams. Also, ISO 10006 provides that the guidelines to ensure that all projects are managed by following sound quality management principle. The strategies for successful projects are review and understand the PMBOK. Number 2, review and understand the ISO 10006. Number 3 is develop a clear process or methodology for the management of projects from beginning to end. Recognize that this is a framework only. Projects vary in size and scope, and this process must be adaptable to these various needs. Develop a process for the elements within the project that is a rest of management process, change management process, communication process, the stakeholder management process, and etc. It also developed quality standards. These quality standards identify that will be done from the beginning to the end of the project to ensure that all of the original deliverables are met, the stakeholder requirements are met, and the project resources are well managed, thereby ensuring the end result of the project meets all expectations. Also, to incorporate all of these processes into one master project plan so that it is always evident whether or not everything that needs to be done according to the established quality standard is done. It also audit your projects to ensure they are being managed as a quality project. Use the ISO 10006 guidelines for this. It also ensures that all projects have a clear closeout and evaluation process and that the lessons learned are captured. It also transfers the knowledge from the lessons learned to new projects. How is the ISO 10006 standard being applied in organization? It, it is applied by managing each project is clear and well documented. Second one is creating and maintaining the team is documented. Managing change on the project is apparent and documented. Managing rest is continuous, is documented and followed. Reviewing task completion is documented also and followed. Reviewing the budget is documented and followed again. Closing and evaluating the project is documented and followed. And that's all. Thank you.